If you are buying a new home in Canada, you might be eligible for thousands of dollars back with Canada's new GST HST housing rebate. And here I have Alex Lavender, as usual, certified mortgage broker, to help explain exactly how this new GST HST rebate works and who is actually eligible to receive it. So, Alex, can you explain what is this new GST HST housing rebate, and is it different than the first-time homebuyers tax credit? Like, what is this new GST HST thing?
Yeah. Hey, Mark. Great question. So this is a bit different for sure because this is essentially only applicable on new construction homes or heavily renovated homes, but it's a little bit of a different matter. So for the most part, new construction homes where a previous tax credit would apply to any first-time home buyers, this is applying to just new construction homes. So essentially, when you purchase a new home, there's HST, there's tax charged on it, GST, HST, depending on the provincial and federal structure. Um, and this is a rebate to get that back.
Okay, so if it's a rebate, that means, if I understand what we said in our last video on the homebuyers tax credit, it doesn't come right up at front, does it? It comes after you file your taxes. Is that right?
Well, it's still in its infancy, so it's still essentially getting approved. We're in a weird time. It has to go through royal assent, so it looks like it is going to be approved, and they're already administering it like it is going to be fully approved as well. But essentially, and it depends on the type of transaction. But if you're buying a new construction home from a builder, essentially. The credit can be administered right in the contract itself. So it can essentially be rebated right in the agreement instead of having to occur after. I believe it can occur after as well, but it can also be applied in the agreement.
Okay, so there's a few like question marks because you said it's being administered right now, so people are getting it, but
Mhm.
it hasn't passed through the full legislative process yet. So maybe Alex, you could shed a little bit more light on like who exactly qualifies for this, and like maybe what type of builds qualify for it. Like if I were to just go and buy a piece of land and build my own house, like is that going to be someone who qualifies for it, or do you think it only is through like actual builders?
Yeah, great question. So if you're building your own home and you're using your own two hands or project managing it yourself, most of the times you are exempt from HST because you're building the home yourself. If you're purchasing it from a builder, then HST applies because you're purchasing the whole home from a builder. So there is typically an HST exemption regardless, where there is no HST at all when you're building your own home. But who's going to qualify for this in terms of a first-time home buyer? Similar to some of the first-time home buyer qualifications before. So this is someone who's like never purchased a home before, but also someone who hasn't owned a home in the last 4 years or has dealt with a relationship or marital breakdown. There would also be some qualifications in there as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that if you built your own home, you're like already exempt from GST, HST. That's awesome. Uh,
Mhm.
on that, then, how does it work? Because if you say GST, HST, I'm assuming that that means there's federal component and a provincial component to it. Is that right?
Yeah, and that's kind of what's tricky right now too, is what's being passed is the whole federal component of this. The provincial component depends on province. So I know Nova Scotia has their own rebate for this program that they would pair up with the federal component. Other provinces, I can't speak to all provinces, but some may or may not have this rebate at a provincial level, so you may not get back all of the HST. It may only be a portion, and in some provinces that participate in it may only do it for a portion rebate as well. So it's going to vary by province, and it's going to kind of be interesting to see when more information comes out because The HST credit is currently in a tiered system as well. Essentially, the full rebate on the federal component is available up to a $1 million purchase price. And then from 1 million to 1.5 million, it's scaled back. But it looks like up to about $1 million is a max rebate of about 50,000 right now.
Wow.
At
So
the
that's like,
federal level,
right.
not including the provincial level. Yeah.
Okay. So up to a $50,000 GST rebate, which is, that can be pretty big for people buying a new home or their first home.
Yeah.
When it comes to, is there a difference between like if this is your first home or your second home? Do we know any information on that yet?
The biggest thing is in terms of the first time home buyer piece, you can't currently own a home. And if you have, you can't have purchased a home in the last 4 years. So some people will be exempt from it if they have owned a home before.
Okay, that's good to know. And if you want to stay updated on the actual implementation of this when it does get fully passed, then subscribe to Alex Lavender on YouTube, because we'll be sure to update when we have new information on it. And then, Alex, my last question for you on this is, you obviously help people get into mortgages as a certified mortgage broker. But does a mortgage broker, like, can you help people like navigate these credits that are available? Because I mean, we've created videos, you and I, on like so many different credits now, and rebates and tax incentives. So yeah, where does a mortgage broker come in to help either first-time home buyers or repeat buyers, know what sort of credits they're eligible for?
Yeah, it's a great question, Mark. I mean, the biggest thing or the most important thing that I'm aware of is that we're aware of all of the different products out there, so we can see right away, if someone's missing one of these credits on their agreement. Maybe it's time to question it as to why it's not on here. But we advise all of our clients about all these credits and options available, and sometimes a client wants to go down that route, and sometimes it's just not the right fit for that program. But we lay out all the options when they are available, and help clients navigate that. And if it's not something we're able to help with, like for example, that first-time homebuyers tax credit, we just say, hey, make sure when you're doing your taxes that you just tell your accountant that you want to apply for this rebate. So if it's not something we do, we make sure clients are aware of it and where to go to get it done.
I think that's super valuable. Missing out on potentially $50,000 or more of tax credits when buying a home is like massive. So
Mhm.
if you want to use Alex for your mortgage or your home purchase, then use the link down below this video, and we will see you in the next video.